She was freezing to death in alien snow until a human held her through the storm. The sky changed without warning. One moment the world of white was calm and quiet. The next, the wind screamed. She felt it before her instruments did. The alien researcher, her name translated roughly to Seelan, stopped walking and lifted her head. Snow flew sideways now, sharp and fast like needles. The horizon vanished, swallowed by moving white. The temperature dropped so quickly that her suit's internal systems struggled to adjust. This was not in the forecast. Seelan tightened her grip on the data case against her chest. She had come to this frozen planet for knowledge, not danger. The planet was classified as low threat, cold but manageable for her species with proper equipment. But storms on this world did not follow rules. Wind struck her from the side, forcing her to lean forward to keep walking. Each step became harder. The snow beneath her boots shifted and slid, hiding ice and cracks. Visibility dropped to almost nothing. Her suit alarm chimed. Core temperature falling, she ignored it and kept moving. Her shelter was not far, at least it should not have been far. She had measured the distance carefully earlier, but the storm twisted space and direction. Every step felt wrong now. The wind pushed her off course. Her navigation system flickered as ice built up on its surface sensors. She stopped again, breathing faster. This was bad. Seelan's species was not built for extremes. They were thinkers, planners, observers. Their bodies were delicate, efficient only in stable environments. Cold drained them quickly. Even with a suit, prolonged exposure was dangerous. She activated her beacon. Nothing. The storm interfered with the signal. She tried again, changing frequency bands. Still nothing. The sound of the wind swallowed every attempt. Her hands began to tremble. Another alarm chimed, this one louder, muscle response degrading. Her breath came out in short clouds, freezing instantly in the air. Snow clung to her visor, forming a thin layer of ice she had to wipe away again and again. She took 3 more steps. Then she slipped. Her foot slid sideways, and she fell hard onto the frozen ground. Pain shot through her side, sharp and bright. The data case flew from her grasp and vanished into the storm. She tried to stand. Her legs did not respond the way they should. Seelan pressed her hands into the snow and pushed. Her body felt heavy, slow, as if the cold had reached inside her and pulled at her muscles. She managed to sit up, but standing felt impossible. Her suit alarm changed tone. Core temperature, critical. She knew what that meant. Her species did not survive this stage for long. She looked around, but there was nothing to see, just endless white moving in every direction. The storm howled like a living thing, uncaring, unstoppable. She thought of her research team, safe inside the main outpost. She had insisted on going alone, confident in her planning. She had wanted quiet time to study the surface formations, to understand how life could exist even here. Now the planet was teaching her a lesson. Her fingers felt numb. She tried to activate her emergency heating reserve, but the command did not respond. Either the system was damaged or the cold had already reached the internal lines. She laughed softly. It came out weak and thin, barely a sound. So this was how it ended, not in discovery, not in honor, but alone in a storm. Seelan lowered herself back into the snow. Lying down felt easier. The ground was painfully cold, but also strangely comforting. Her breathing slowed, her thoughts drifted. Her species did not panic easily, they accepted facts. And the fact was simple: rescue would not reach her in time, the storm was too strong. Her eyes closed for a moment, then something moved. At first she thought it was imagination, a shadow where there should be none. But the shape grew clearer against the white, dark against light, upright, walking. She forced her eyes open wider, the shape was real. A figure struggled through the storm, leaning into the wind. Broad shoulders, long limbs, movements heavy but determined. It was not one of her people, it was a human. Her mind tried to make sense of it. Humans were part of the joint expedition, yes, but humans avoided storms like this. Their biology was not suited for extreme cold without protection. Every shared report said the same thing. Humans are resilient but inefficient. The figure came closer, fighting the wind step by step. Seelan tried to speak, to call out, but her throat barely worked. Only a weak sound escaped her. The human stopped. His head turned slowly, visor scanning the ground. Snow coated his suit, thick and heavy. His movements were slower than before, but he was still walking, still searching. He saw her. Seelan watched as he rushed forward, almost slipping as he knelt beside her. His gloved hands brushed snow away from her body, quick and careful. "Hey," he said. His voice came through her suit receiver, rough but clear. "Stay with me, you hear me?" She tried to answer. Her mouth moved, but no sound came. The human cursed softly, not in anger, but in worry. He checked her suit readings using a shared interface. His shoulders stiffened when he saw the numbers. "Damn," he whispered. He looked around. The storm was getting worse, not better. Visibility was almost zero now. There was no way to carry her. Even standing still for too long was dangerous. Seelan expected him to leave. That would be the logical choice. Humans valued survival. They were practical. Everything she knew suggested he would activate his beacon, mark her location, and retreat to safety. Instead, he did something strange. He sat down beside her. Then he began removing parts of his thermal gear. Seelan's eyes widened. "No," she tried to say. Her translator barely picked it up, but he heard something in her movement. He looked at her face through the visor and shook his head. "Don't," he said. "Don't try to talk." He pulled his outer thermal layer aside, exposing the heat retaining in her suit. Then, carefully, he shifted closer until his body blocked the wind from hitting her directly. Snow piled up around them almost instantly, forming a rough wall. "What are you doing?" she whispered, finally forcing the words out. He smiled faintly, though his lips were pale. "Keeping you alive." He adjusted her position, gently pulling her against his chest. The contact was shocking, not painful, but intense. Warmth spread where his body touched hers. Real warmth, not artificial heat from a suit. Her sensors reacted immediately. External heat source detected her core temperature stopped falling. It did not rise, but it stopped dropping. Seelan stared at him in disbelief. "This is illogical," she said weakly. He laughed softly, breath fogging the inside of his visor. "Yeah," he replied. "We hear that a lot." The storm roared around them louder than ever. The wind tried to pull them apart, but the human held firm, arms wrapped around her like an anchor. Seelan felt his body shake, not from fear, but from something else. A strange, controlled movement she did not understand. "You will die," she said. "Your heat loss." "Maybe," he answered simply, "but not yet." Her vision blurred at the edges. Exhaustion pressed down on her like the snow itself. But she stayed awake, held there by the impossible warmth of a human body in a storm that should have killed them both. The last thing she noticed before darkness crept in was this: the storm was winning. But the human was not giving up. And neither, she realized, was she. Seelan did not know how much time passed. The storm did not allow time to exist normally. There was only cold, wind, and the steady pressure of a human body holding her close. At first, she thought she had lost consciousness. But then she felt something strange. Warmth. Not artificial warmth from a suit heater. Not the weak, fading warmth of her own failing body. This warmth was alive. It moved. Her eyes opened slowly. Snow pressed against her visor, forming a dull white wall. The wind screamed outside, but here, inside the small space between their bodies, it was quieter. She realized she was pressed tightly against the human's chest. His arms were wrapped around her, firm and steady. One hand rested against her back, holding her in place so the wind could not pull her away. His body formed a shield, blocking the worst of the storm. Her suit sensors flickered. Core temperature, stabilizing that was impossible. Her species did not stabilize once this far into hypothermia. Every medical chart she knew said the same thing. Once the core temperature dropped below a certain point, recovery without advanced medical care was unlikely. Yet here she was, alive. She lifted her head slightly. The movement made her dizzy, but she forced herself to focus. The human's visor was close to hers. Ice had formed along its edges. His breathing was slow and controlled, fogging the inside with each breath. "Human," she whispered. His eyes shifted immediately, alert, focused. "Hey," he said softly. "Good, you're awake." "You should not be here," she said. Each word felt heavy, like pushing through thick air. "The storm, I know," he replied. "Just stay still." She studied him the way a scientist studied a rare and dangerous thing. Humans were not built for this world. Their home planet had cold regions, yes, but nothing like this. Nothing with storms that could strip heat away in minutes. Their own reports admitted it. Humans required technology to survive extreme cold. And yet this one had removed part of his protection. "Your thermal layer," she said slowly. "You exposed it." "Yeah," he answered. "Had to." "That reduces your survival probability," she said. He let out a short breath that might have been a laugh. "Story of my life." She did not understand the phrase, but she understood the tone. Calm, almost light. As if this situation did not frighten him as much as it should. Her sensors showed another strange reading. External heat output increasing. She blinked. That made no sense. She felt it too. The human's body was warmer now than it had been moments before, not by much but enough to register. Your heat output is rising, she said. Good, he replied. That is not good, she corrected. You are losing energy. Heat production should decrease. Normally, he said. Yeah, she waited for him to explain. The storm roared. Snow piled higher around them, sealing their small shelter tighter. The human shifted slightly, adjusting his position so the wind hit his back instead of her side. I'm shivering, he said. Yes, she replied. That is a sign of heat generation, he finished. Muscle movement, body's way of fighting the cold. Her mind paused. Her species shivered only when systems failed. It was a sign of collapse, not resistance. You are forcing your body to move, she said. Yep, on purpose. Also, yep, she stared at him. That is extremely inefficient. He smiled behind the visor. She could tell by the way his cheeks lifted. Humans aren't big on efficiency, he said. We're more into stubbornness. Another gust of wind slammed into them. Snow forced its way through a small gap, stinging her exposed skin. The human tightened his grip instantly, pulling her closer and turning his body to block it. His arms trembled, not weakly, but rhythmically. Controlled. Her suit registered it again. External heat output maintained. How long can you do this? She asked. He thought for a moment. Don't know, he said honestly. Long enough, I hope. She tried to calculate probabilities, but the numbers refused to settle. Too many unknowns. Too many variables that did not fit her data. You should prioritize your own survival, she said. Your species' doctrine supports. Hey, he interrupted gently. Look at me. She did. His eyes were tired, red from cold and strain, but there was something steady there. Something firm. I'm not leaving you, he said. The words were simple. No promise of success, no dramatic claim, just fact. Her chest tightened not from cold, but from something else she could not name. You do not know me, she said. He shrugged slightly, careful not to break contact. Don't need to. Her breathing slowed as her body absorbed the warmth. The shaking in her hands lessened. Her vision cleared, slowly, too slowly. You will reach hypothermia, she said, before rescue arrives. Maybe, he replied, but you'll reach it first if I let go. The storm showed no sign of stopping. Her internal clock estimated that rescue teams would not risk deployment until conditions improved. Hours. They did not have hours. She gathered what strength she had and tried to move away from him. No, she said weakly, you must conserve energy. His grip tightened immediately, not painful, but firm. Don't, he said, you're still cold. You are colder, she insisted. Doesn't matter. It does, she said. Your life is mine to spend, he finished. She froze. That concept did not exist in her culture. Life was preserved, protected, optimized. Spending it like a resource, especially for a stranger, was unthinkable. Why? She asked quietly. The human was silent for a moment. The wind filled the space between them. Because, he said finally, I couldn't live with myself if I didn't try. Her translator processed the words, but meaning lagged behind. Live with himself. His life depended on the storm, the cold, the timing of rescue. How did something internal weigh more than survival? She felt his body shiver harder now. His breathing changed, still controlled, but deeper. Your condition is worsening, she said. Yours is improving, he replied. That's a win. She checked her sensors again. Core temperature, slowly rising. She should not have survived this. Not by the rules of biology she knew. And yet the human was breaking those rules simply by refusing to stop. She watched him carefully now, not just as a person, but as a phenomenon. He adjusted his posture again, forcing blood flow through his limbs. He flexed his fingers, then relaxed them. His jaw tightened and released in a steady rhythm. All of that, she said, you are doing consciously. Some of it, he answered. Rest is instinct. Your instincts are aggressive, he laughed softly. It came out rough, almost painful. Tell me about it. Another alarm sounded, this one from his suit. She could see the warning lights reflecting faintly in his visor. Your core temperature is dropping, she said. Yeah, he admitted. Kinda figured. You should re-engage your thermal layer. Can't, he said. Not while you need the heat. Her mind raced. Her species had emergency energy reserves, small, carefully protected. They were designed to keep organs alive long enough for medical retrieval. Using them early reduced long-term survival chances. But she was alive now. Alive because of him. If you continue, she said, you will collapse. Then you'll be warm when they find you, he replied. She did not accept that. She focused, forcing her sluggish thoughts into order. Her fingers barely responded, but she willed them to move. Slowly, carefully, she accessed her suit's internal systems. "What are you doing?" he asked. "Preparing to return the favor," she said. "You don't have to, I insist." Her suit protested as she redirected power. Warning signals flared. This energy was not meant to be shared. She ignored them. A faint hum filled the space between them as her suit released controlled warmth, not outward but inward toward his body. He stiffened. "Oh," he said quietly. His sensors reacted instantly. His shivering slowed, his breathing steadied. She felt his body relax slightly against hers. "You did that," he said. "Yes," she replied. "Consider it cooperation." He was silent for a long moment, then he smiled again. "Guess we're both bad at following rules." The storm continued to rage, uncaring. But inside their small shelter of bodies and snow, two species survived in a way no data model had predicted. Together, the storm did not stop. It did not slow. It did not weaken. The wind kept screaming across the frozen world, pushing snow into every crack and corner. Time stretched and twisted, measured only by breath and heartbeat. Seelan stayed awake through force of will. She had learned that sleep in cold like this was dangerous. Her body wanted rest, wanted to slip into quiet darkness, but she fought it. The human's warmth helped, but not enough to make her safe. Not yet. The human, his name was Mark, she remembered now, was quieter than before. That worried her. His breathing was steady but slower. The shaking of his muscles had changed. It was still there, but less strong, less sharp. She looked at his face through the visor. His eyes were half closed, blinking slowly. "Human," she said. He replied. "You must remain conscious." He smiled weakly. "Trying. That is not sufficient," she said. He chuckled a dry sound. "You sound like my instructor back home." She did not know what that meant, but she understood tone. He was tired, very tired. She checked his suit readings again. They were worse than before. Core temperature, low energy reserves, depleting. Her own readings were better. That truth felt heavy. She shifted slightly, trying to give him more of the warmth from her suit. The movement made her dizzy, but she ignored it. "You are losing heat faster now," she said. "Yeah," he replied softly. "Cold-s winning a bit." "That is unacceptable." He opened his eyes more fully and looked at her. "You don't get to tell the cold that," he said. "It doesn't listen." She studied his face carefully. Ice clung to his eyelashes. His skin looked pale beneath the visor, and yet there was still focus there. Still awareness. "You continue to fight," she said, "even when logic says you should stop." "Humans are bad at quitting," he answered. She shook her head slowly. "No," she said, "you are bad at surrender." He smiled again, but weaker this time. "That too." The storm pushed against them hard, sending a deep vibration through the snow wall they had formed. Snow fell onto his back, adding weight. He adjusted his position automatically, shifting to keep pressure off her chest. Even now, even like this. Seelan felt something change inside her understanding. She had studied humans from reports and shared data. They were described as emotional, impulsive, inefficient. Their biology was messy. Their systems wasted energy. Their survival strategies were labeled primitive. But none of those words matched what she was witnessing. "Your species should not survive worlds like this," she said quietly. "Probably," he replied. "And yet," she continued, "your bodies react to danger with resistance, not retreat." "Yeah," he said. "Earth's not exactly gentle." She waited. Humans often explained themselves when given space. She had noticed that in earlier interactions. "We evolved with heat and cold," he continued. "Storms, droughts, floods, stuff that tries to kill you just for being there." "That is inefficient," she said again, but softer now. "Sure," he replied, "but it teaches you something." "What?" He took a slow breath. "How to suffer without stopping." The words settled heavily between them. Her translator processed them easily. Understanding them took longer. Suffering in her culture was avoided. Systems were designed to remove it. Pain was a sign of failure, not a tool, but humans seemed to use it. She watched his hands now. Every few moments he moved his fingers, clenching and releasing them. His arms tightened around her briefly, then relaxed. His jaw set, then loosened. Each movement was small. Each movement was deliberate. "You are controlling your body," she said. "Trying to," he answered. "If I stop moving, I lose heat faster. You are forcing circulation." "Yep, and awareness." "Also yep." Her eyes widened slightly. "That requires constant effort," he nodded. "Does it hurt?" she asked. He thought for a moment. "Yeah," he said honestly, "a lot." "Then why continue?" He looked at her again. Because you're still breathing, he said. Her chest tightened again, that strange sensation returning. She looked away, staring at the white wall of snow inches from her face. This is not logical, she said. Good, he replied. Logic already failed today. Another long moment passed. His breathing hitched slightly. She felt it immediately. Mark, she said. Still here, he replied, but his voice was weaker. You are approaching your limit. Probably past it, he admitted. That was dangerous. Very dangerous. If he lost consciousness, his body would stop fighting. Heat production would drop. Death would follow quickly. She could not allow that. Seelan forced her tired mind to work. She searched her memory for anything that could help. Her species had studied humans for years, but mostly at a distance. Data, numbers, controlled environments, not this, not reality. Then she remembered something. Earlier reports had mentioned it, dismissed as a minor detail. Humans responded to connection, emotion. Social bonding increased endurance. It had been labeled psychological noise. She turned back to him. Mark, she said firmly. Yeah, he replied, barely above a whisper. You must listen to me. I am, he said. You are not allowed to sleep, she said. Do you understand? He smiled faintly. Bossy alien, answer me, she insisted. Yes, he said. I understand. She leaned closer, pressing her forehead gently against his visor. Then you will talk, she said. You will tell me about your home. His eyes focused again, just a little. My home, he repeated. Yes, she said. Describe it. He swallowed. Okay, he said slowly. It's loud, messy, too many people. Continue. He hesitated, then went on. There's snow where I grew up too, he said. Not like this, but enough. Kids complain about it. Adults complain more. She listened carefully. There are lights, he continued. Warm ones, food smells, people arguing, laughing, always noise. His breathing steadied as he spoke. She watched the readings. His core temperature stabilized for now. It worked. She pressed gently against him, making sure he stayed grounded in the moment. You must continue, she said. He chuckled weakly. You're really not letting me rest, are you? No, she said. You are required. For science, he asked. For survival, she replied. He nodded slowly. Okay, he said. Then I'll talk. And he did. He talked about rain and heat, about walking through storms without shelter, about helping strangers because someone once helped him. Each word pulled him back from the edge. Each sentence kept his mind active. Seelan listened, and something deep inside her shifted. Humans did not survive because they were strong. They survived because they refused to face the storm alone. The realization hit her like a shock. Her people built walls against the universe. Humans built bonds. She tightened her grip on him, not just for warmth now, but to keep him anchored. You are extraordinary, she said quietly. He laughed softly. Don't tell my team that. I'll never hear the end of it. You misunderstand, she said. Your species is extraordinary. He was silent for a moment. Then he said very quietly, so are you? The storm continued to rage, but Seelan knew something now. This was the human trick, not strength, not technology, not aggression. It was the simple, stubborn refusal to stop caring, even when the cold demanded it. And that, she realized, was why humans survived worlds that should have killed them. The storm began to change. Not suddenly, not kindly, but Seelan felt it before she saw it. The wind still screamed, but its rhythm shifted. The violent bursts came farther apart. The pressure against Mark's back eased for a few seconds at a time, then returned again. The storm was weakening, but it was not over. Mark's body was growing heavier against her. She noticed it slowly at first, the way his arms no longer tightened as quickly, the way his breathing became shallow between words. The pauses in his speech grew longer, too long. Mark, she said. No answer. Her heart tightened. Mark, she said again, louder this time. His head shifted slightly. A weak sound escaped him. Still here, he murmured, but his eyes were closed. That was bad, very bad. Seelan knew the signs now. She had been watching him for too long not to understand. His body was losing the fight. The shivering that once produced heat had slowed almost to nothing. His instincts were failing. If he fell fully unconscious, it would be over. She checked his suit readings with shaking focus. Core temperature, critical neural response, DELAYED, no, she whispered. She pressed herself closer to him, trying to share every bit of warmth she had left. Her suit hummed as it redirected power, draining her reserves faster than ever. Warning lights flashed. Emergency energy, NEAR depletion. She ignored them. Her own survival no longer mattered the way it once had. Mark, she said urgently, you must wake up. His eyes fluttered, then opened just a little. "Hey," he whispered, "storm quieting." "Yes," she said, "but you are failing." He smiled faintly. "Guess we timed it wrong." "No," she said firmly, "you did not come this far to stop now." He exhaled slowly. "Feels warm," he murmured, "like sleep." "That is a lie," she said sharply. "Sleep will kill you." He laughed weakly. "You're really bad at comforting." She did not smile. She did not have time. She searched her mind desperately. Talking was no longer enough. His consciousness was slipping through her words. She needed something stronger, something final. "Mark," she said, forcing calm into her voice. "Listen to me carefully." "If you die," she said, "your people will learn what you did here." His eyes opened slightly more. "They will learn that a human gave his life to save a stranger. They will honor you." "Sounds nice," he murmured. "But," she continued, her voice tightening, "they will also learn that humans are expendable." That got his attention. His eyes focused just a little. "What?" "They will conclude," she said slowly, "that humans can be used as survival tools. That your endurance makes you acceptable losses." His brow furrowed. "That doesn't sound right." "No," she said, "it is not right, and it will happen if you do not survive to tell the story yourself." Silence stretched between them, broken only by the wind. She leaned closer, her voice low and intense. "You must live," she said, "not for me, for your species." His jaw tightened. "That's unfair," he said weakly. "Yes," she replied, "so is the universe." His breathing changed, a little deeper, a little stronger. His fingers twitched against her back. She felt it immediately. "That is good," she said. "Stay with me." "I'm trying," he said. "Everything hurts." "I know," she replied. "So does surviving." Another gust hit them, weaker than before. Snow slid down their shelter wall instead of crashing through it. The storm was breaking, but Mark was not safe. She made a decision. It went against every rule her species lived by. She accessed her suit's deepest system, one she had never used before, a final reserve. Not meant to be activated unless recovery was guaranteed. Using it now could kill her later. She did not hesitate. Her suit released a surge of controlled energy, not heat this time, but stimulation. It flowed carefully into Mark's suit interface, sinking briefly before his systems reacted. He gasped. His body jerked slightly. "Whoa, what was that?" he asked, suddenly more awake. "Pain," she said calmly. "You required it." He laughed, a real laugh this time, rough but alive. "Remind me not to owe you favors." His shivering returned, stronger now. Heat output increased. She watched the readings shift, not safe, but better. The storm weakened further. The wind dropped to a steady howl instead of a scream. Visibility improved just enough for shapes to exist beyond white. Seelan activated her beacon again. This time it responded. A soft tone echoed inside her suit. Signal sent she felt something close to relief. "Mark," she said, "rescue may reach us." "Good," he replied. "Because I'm really tired." "You may rest," she said, "but not yet." "Bossy," he murmured. She tightened her hold on him as his strength wavered again. Minutes passed, long, painful minutes. Then she heard it, a distant sound, low, rhythmic engines. Her heart raced. "They are coming," she said. Mark tried to lift his head. Failed. "Figures," he said. "Missed the good part." Lights appeared through the thinning storm. Shadows moved. Voices echoed, distorted by wind and helmets. They were close, but not close enough. Mark's body sagged again. "No," she whispered. She pressed her forehead to his visor. "Stay," she said. "You survived the storm. Do not fail now." His lips moved. "Cold, stubborn," he whispered. "So are you," she replied. Hands grabbed them then, careful, urgent. Rescue teams pulled snow away, wrapped thermal blankets around them, lifted Mark's heavy body first. Seelan screamed his name as they separated them. "No," she shouted. "He must remain warm. Do not stop contact." They listened. They always listened to her species. Mark was secured, warmed, stabilized. Barely. As they carried him away, his hand reached out blindly. She caught it, held it until they made her let go. The storm finally broke behind them. The sky cleared, but Seelan had never felt colder.